you got to show some love to the Game's album. I'm sorry. Drake, respectfully, in a way, and I know OVO fans gonna be mad at this, in a way where the niggas that don't fuck with you or haven't fucked with you, like the Game has stood by you. Like the Game's album's out this week. Throw it up on it. Don't do that Kendrick shit. Throw it up on a story one time for my guy. Throw it up on a story. Just one time. You got a song on there. You don't gotta throw the song, but at least you gotta acknowledge the motherfuckers who rocking with you. Because you know what I mean? I'm just kind of going off history and kind of watching how a lot of niggas turn on you. The Game is a solid nigga. He got his project out. Not saying that if you post his album is gonna like fucking do like hella numbers now, but you know, I just think that we live in a time you gotta appreciate loyalty. And you know, throw the album up, bro. Throw the album up. All right. Anyway. Wait, what?
Yo, Drake, I gotta agree with Big Ack and Whack 100, man. Like, you not posting the Game's Documentary 3 album is crazy, bro. Like, the Game is the only nigga from Cali that stayed loyal to you, bro. Everybody else switched up. You gave YG 2 hit songs and he switched up on you, bro. While you was getting your back kicked in by Kendrick, bro. He was on stage, walking this shit, bro. The Game ain't even pull up to that event. You know what I'm saying? Like Rick Ross, Future, you know, The Weeknd, all of these people that you've had hit songs with, they all switched up on you except for the Game. So when Game reaches out to you and puts you on his album, and listen, Drake didn't have a verse, right? He really only said 2 words, no breaks, no breaks, no breaks, no. That's all he said. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he did a lot, but it's like, when you see the Game show you love and let it be known like, hey, they said pick a side, I'm rocking with Drake. Right? He dissed Kendrick multiple times on that Documentary 3 album. And he made it clear that he's rocking with Drake. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people in Cali are upset about that. A lot of people in Cali, they hate the fact that Game is, you know, still staying loyal to Drake. You know what I'm saying? Even at the Versus battle with him and YG, he made it clear, hey, Drake's my nigga. He performed 100. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in there got quiet because they wasn't feeling that. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, Game poked his chest out like, who gonna do something to me? You know what I'm saying? So, Drake, you know, and I've always had this criticism of Drake because he does this to his own artists. Like, people forget that Roy Woods is signed to OVO Sound. People forget that Magic Jordan is signed to OVO Sound because you don't ever see Drake post his own artists on his label. So I'm not surprised at all that Drake didn't post the Games. That he doesn't even support his own artists. When's the last time you heard anything about an artist that signed to Drake? You know, and it's crazy how Drake is about to be 40 this year. You would think he would start you would think he would start to take a step back and say, you know what? Let me promote my artist more. You know what? Let me do an OVO album. Why haven't we got an OVO album, bro? It's 2026. The last person that probably had a hit song with OVO Sound was probably McConan with the club going up on a Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? That's the last person that had a hit song with OVO Sound, bro. So Drake, do the right thing. Post Games album. Whenever your next album comes out, I think it's called Fear of Missing Out. Put the Game on your album, bro. Show some love.
Make it a tough time for Drake in the future. He didn't, and I'm gonna be honest with you. As soon as Drake drops some shit, people love Drake again. Which now people kind of have to look at Drake, even if you totally lost the battle, as this guy's Teflon. And the reason why is that the person who y'all was trying to make number one, Heavy's ahead if you're going to wear the crown. He doesn't want to put out music. He doesn't drop shit frequently. He was going to let the summer go without dropping a record that the fans could enjoy. Drake dropped 3 albums trying to get like at least one song to rock out for the summer. He did a feature with Game. He's going to do whatever else he's going to do. So, you know, thank you to Kendrick. And that's why I'm kind of shocked that he's even upset that Game has worked with Drake, because I'm like, bro, it's not like you're president of culture. Like, what do you want? No one to drop music until you drop? So, I don't know. Anyway, chat, I'm gonna call it for tonight because it is 3 o'clock and
yo, Drake, man, I look forward to seeing the new album, you know what I'm saying? But like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking more forward to seeing what Kendrick Lamar's next album sounds like, because, you know, GNX was the first album that we got from Kendrick Lamar that was a West Coast like gangbanging type album. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've never heard Kendrick even rap on those type of beats, which I find very strange because, you know, Kendrick is from Compton, right? So I find it very funny that it took him beefing with Drake to really tap into his, you know, to his West Coast Compton type shit. Like, he even was kind of like, you know, stealing from like niggas like Draco and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So like, what is Kendrick's next album gonna sound like? Because I didn't like GNX. You know, I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? But I did like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. You know, that's actually one of my favorite Kendrick Lamar albums. Definitely top 3. But a lot of people didn't like Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. I've heard a lot of people say they think that's Kendrick's worst album. And I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that it took like almost 4 years for that album to come out, right? Damn commercially was a better album than Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, that had more songs that you could play like on the radio and shit. So where does Kendrick Lamar go from here? Like, is he gonna make like a GNX Part 2? Is he gonna respond to what Drake was saying on Iceman? Is he gonna respond to The Game? Right? Is Kendrick gonna go back to making his conscious, you know, Black Power type music? Like, you know, we don't know where Kendrick's gonna go from here. Is Kendrick Lamar gonna make like an album similar to Damn, where he's making songs for the radio, right? Songs that, you know, could potentially go #1, you know? So that's one thing I like about Kendrick Lamar. Like, I like how Kendrick Lamar is low key. When he's not putting out music, you don't really see him, right? You don't really hear anything about Kendrick Lamar. You don't hear nothing about his relationship. You don't hear nothing about him getting in trouble. Like, when he's not dropping music, he is like completely off the radar. You know what I'm saying? And then he just pops up out of nowhere and he just goes back to doing what he does. So, you know, that within itself is a talent. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I think that's why so many people, you know, went against Drake, because Drake is always seen, like, even now, right? We're seeing Drake at concerts. Drake did a 20v1. You always hear about Drake, who he's dating. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake is doing features. Like, bruh, Drake's about to put out his 4th album this year. That's insane. The man just dropped 3 albums, and he's already talking about dropping a 4th one. You know what I'm saying? Like, he already posted like a CD and all that, bro. So it's like, damn, like, Drake really, that's why he's at the top, bro. Like, you know, like, there's no other artist that's putting out music consistently like Drake that's on Drake's level. You know what I'm saying? Like, Drake still be working like he's still like an underground artist trying to get signed, bro. You got no choice but to respect it. You know what I'm saying? So, but I'm gonna make a prediction, y'all. This is my prediction, right? I think Jay-Z is gonna drop an album around October, right around Drake's birthday, right? And I think Kendrick Lamar is going to be featured on that album. And then I think Kendrick's going to drop his album either in December or January. Right? So I think things are going to get very interesting towards the end of the year as far as rap and hip hop, right? J. Cole is pretty much retired, right? The Fall Off, I think The Fall Off was a solid album, but I don't think that it's aged well. I think The Fall Off is kind of one of those albums that you listen to the first 2 weeks and then you just forget about it. Iceman has actually aged all 3 of those albums Drake put out has aged very well. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, rap and hip hop is in an interesting space, man, because it's like, you know, hip hop and rap isn't really charting like that, bro. Besides Drake and whenever Kendrick drops and Cole, like, nobody's really selling records, bro. You know, like, Pooh Shiesty's album had some noise. You know, Pooh Shiesty's album did pretty well, but like, who's gonna be the next guy? Who's gonna be the next generation of Drake and Kendrick and Cole, man? Like, you know, of course you got Future, right? Future's always gonna do his thing, but I don't know, man. I think rap and hip hop is in a very dangerous spot, and whenever Drake decides to retire, bruh, hip hop and rap could go extinct, y'all. I know it's a scary thing to say, but remember what happened to rock and roll? How rock and roll was like the #1 music genre and it fell off? The same thing is happening to rap and hip hop right in front of our eyes, man. So it's very unfortunate, man. But shout out to Big Act. It's your boy Days. Make sure y'all subscribe, thumbs up the video, click that hype button for your boy. I'm out.